Welcome to the Art of Hope Show. My name is Chadwick Sapenter. Thank you guys for tuning in. One of the things that I have that has been bothering me with myself, because it always starts with me reflecting on where I'm at in relation to where I want to be. Over the next year, the next 2 years, I got some pretty specific goals. The next 10 years, I got some really specific goals. Next year and a half, I want to have purchased at a minimum 100 rental properties or doors, right? Regardless of how I get them. The next 10 years, I want over 9 figures in net worth. And in order for me to get there, it's going to require just a level of focus that I have yet to tap into. But if I'm being honest with myself, I realize I'm not going hard enough. I'm not going hard enough. I'm not putting in the amount of work. I'm not doing everything within my power in order to get me to that place that I want to be at. So what about you? Are you putting in the amount of work, the level of focus required for you to get to where you actually want to be? Have you made it a decision first in your mind, second with your actions, your habits, your routine that are going to get you closer to that place that you actually want to be at? For me, I had to look and I said, you know what? I'm sleeping in too late. Waking up at 5 is not going to get it. I got too many things to do. So now I'm trying to figure out how do I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning? And I know it starts with just getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's going to suck. And and it also means that I'm going to have to start getting to bed earlier. And so I got a huge conflict with how I've been going on, because I built up some habits where I'm going to sleep close to midnight. I may wake up at 5. And in some days, I snooze till 5:30. And those are things about myself that I just really find disgusting. But here's what I know for myself. And here's what's true for you, that you can't get to where you want to get to in life if you aren't willing to pay a price for it, right? Cheap prices, or I guess cheap things require cheap sacrifice, right? But really amazing things, really luxurious things, and I'm not talking about material, right? Any thing that is worth having is going to be worth sacrificing for, but it's going to come at a cost that is higher than that cheap price. You can't have my grandma. She would say, you can't have a filet mignon appetite with a bologna budget. And so many of us, our habits are baloney. We have really mediocre habits. We're making mediocre progress, and we give ourselves an out every time that we fall short. And we keep thinking that we can restart the next day or the next time or the next opportunity. Or you know what? We give ourselves these out for not being as locked in and focused as we need to be. And I know myself, I give myself those same type of excuses. And maybe I shouldn't be admitting this. Maybe I should be pretending like I'm like that's not me. Like I'm above that and I'm beyond that, so that I can be some type of expert or guru. But this is a journey that I'm living out in public in many ways, and so I just want to be real transparent that if this is you, if you find yourself kind of stuck or at this place where you know where you want to be at and what you want to get to, that you just kind of seem to be spinning your wheels and you're not getting there, and you're looking at how your life is being played out and you're unhappy with it. Sometimes, I'll stop there. Even maybe that's you, but maybe you're a person that thinks that you're doing enough. Maybe you're pretty comfortable and content with where you are, what you've currently been doing, how it's been working out for you. And so you feel like, I'm good. I'm making progress, taking baby steps. People like me, people adore me, and people feel like that I'm really becoming something. Maybe that's who you are, and that's probably most of us. We're not that we're self-reflecting and we think that we're lazy pieces of shit. Like, that's kind of how I talk to myself. Like, I'm being a lazy piece of shit because sometimes I'm being a lazy piece of shit, and that's really the truth. But most of us, we are pretty content. Like, we think that we're at a pretty good place. We think that we are that we've arrived at some point that gives us the freedom to coast. And the truth is this, is that you have to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and say, even if you're going hard, even if you're going as hard as you think you can, you aren't going hard enough. If you haven't reached that level yet that you want to be at, that you've set out for yourself, forget other people. If you haven't reached that level yet, what you have to be honest about is saying you're not going hard enough. Because so here's the thing, your current life, the current journey that you're on, like, we get one shot at this thing. This is it. Like, we get on this side of eternity. We get a shot. And we were sent here to this earth by God with a specific purpose and thing that we are supposed to be fulfilling and requiring. I have what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, and there are things that you're supposed to be setting out and doing for your life also. We got to create room in our lives so that our gifts can manifest and that our purpose can be fulfilled. We only do that when we're locked in, when we're going as hard as we possibly can, when we're doing everything within our power to make success a reality. Like all of the little things, right? So some of these are checking your habits. It's controlling your diet. It's not stuffing your face. It's just being disciplined, because discipline leaks. And so if I'm working out, if I'm locked in, if I'm getting up at the right time, if I'm doing something like flossing my teeth, well, then all of my small habits, those things that only I control and I set for myself, if those habits are locked in, then it's a good chance my big habits are locked in also. It's a good chance that I'm knocking those things out of the park also, because discipline leaks. Same thing with integrity. It leaks. You're not fixing to be a cheat and a scandalous person in one part of your life, and then all of a sudden you're going to be righteous and upright and upstanding in another. Some of these things are pretty simple. But we have to be critical. We have to self-analyze and then hold ourselves to that standard that is required for us to get to that goal that we say that we want to be at. And that matters not for anyone else. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it. You have to look yourself in the mirror. You have to make sure that you have clearly defined goals that are written down. And then you have to examine your day-to-day habits and ask yourself, am I doing what is necessary for me to reach that next level, for me to get closer to my goals, for me to move to that next phase, for me to actually accomplish the things that I've set out to do that are going to give me the best opportunity to live this life the way that I am supposed to, the way that I was created to live. And nobody can answer that for you. You can't answer that for me, because for most people, they think I'm too serious. They think I'm going hard and couldn't imagine how critical I am of myself. But the standard of where I want to get to, listen, it's uncommon. I am from the bottom, right? And so I figured out how to get to the floor. Now I'm trying to build a platform up so I can get to the moon, right? But that's going to require a different version of me. That's going to require a more focused version of me. That's going to require a more disciplined version of me. That's going to be somebody, a version of me that is more sacrificial with my time, with my efforts, with my energy in service of others. Because the more I pour out, the more I create room to be filled in. And so what I try to figure out is, how can I pour out myself for the benefit of others, for the glory of God, in order to reach this next level, right? And this is me. This is me, and this is what I have to ask, and I have to be honest with myself and say, Chad, you're not going hard enough. And you listening right now, I'm willing to bet you anything. I'm willing to bet that you're not going hard enough either. And if you're a person that says, you know what? No, yes, I am. I guarantee you you're not. I guarantee you you're not. You're not going hard enough. There is more that you can be doing, right? That area that only you know that you're kind of sneaking on, that you're falling short on, that you aren't maximizing your time, your efforts, your talent in order for you to get there. That area, that's the area that's going to keep you away from your goals. That small little compromise, that's the area that's going to come back and get you. And you're going to look up and you're going to wonder why you didn't accomplish that thing, why you didn't reach that place that you were supposed to go. And it's because you didn't do what was necessary to get to your goals. Like I say this all the time, like sometimes our body requires sleep. And I battle with this all the time. Sometimes our body requires sleep, but our dreams require sacrifice. Sometimes we desire and actually need fun and entertainment, socializing and going to hang out with people that we care about, however you do that. Sometimes that's necessary, right? Sometimes like we really need that as people. But our goals and our dreams are going to require sacrifice. And so you got to figure out how do you get all of these things done? And it may be a season, like right now might be that season where you say, I'm going to lock in, right? What would it look like if I went the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year, heck, the next 2 weeks, locked in on my goals, doing the things that I said I was going to do, waking up when I said I was going to wake up, working out when I said I was going to work out, sleeping when I said I was going to sleep, reading when I said I was going to read. All of those things that you've laid out, that you've been putting off, and you're saying, you know, I know I need to do this. I know I need to eat better. I know I need to exercise. I know I need to focus more. I need to start that business. I need to get to that next thing. All of those things, that stuff right there. Like, what would it look like if, like, for the next week, the next 10 days, the next 30 days, the next 60 days that you said, you know what? I'm locked in. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to give my all towards these things. Because you're not going hard enough. You're not going hard enough. Do more. You are not going hard enough. You have to go harder. You have to pour in more. And if you like me and you started from the bottom, listen, you can't just go hard. You have to match the speed of everybody else around you. And then you got to find another gear. You got to find another edge in order to even get past them. You got to give everything you can just to catch them. And then you got to find something else to even be able to pass them. Man, and it's hard. Man, it is hard because you know what? They're running too, and they're trying not to get caught. So lock in, examine yourself, and a couple questions you got to ask yourself. I have a worksheet. I'll link it below so you can actually print out this worksheet, but I want you to kind of take some inventory and examine yourself and say, hey, what areas do I need to be going harder? All right? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, like what does that look like? Write this down. Like what does it look like? What are those goals? Where are you at compared to where you want to be? Like what does that look like? And then be honest with yourself and say, hey, what areas can I be going harder in? Where do I need to be making some more sacrifices? How do I need to be more disciplined? What do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? How in the hell am I going to get there?